Hey everybody, Ken Christian here. Thank you for coming to the webinar, and I'm glad you were there. I've got to tell you, there has been some really phenomenal feedback on the webinar and a lot of enthusiasm about Scott and how he tripled his income in the next 18 months. And then that little postscript, people love the postscript from Scott, where I talked to him very, very recently, and he talked about his goals and what he's doing and how he overcame all the fears that were holding him back, and the fear of failure and the fear of too much success and all that stuff that gets in the way, or too much success too fast. That is the key to where we're going to go today, because one of the things people have asked about and raised some questions about is my statement that change could be permanent and that you could really do it in 90 days. And there is so much research on that. I mean, this is like 60 years of research in psychology on how people successfully change, how they do it on their own, if they so do it, just by force of will, but also there's a very clear pattern that they follow. And when they follow that pattern and they stick to it for a minimum of 84 days, they actually arrive at a permanent change. And we're talking about very serious permanent changes. People losing tremendous amounts of weight and then keeping it off for life. People who go cold turkey on drugs and addictions and all kinds of things. And there's always a pattern to how they do it. So much so that this is actually probably, in the last 50, 60 years, the most quoted research that's ever been out there, because it's so important and so valuable and so vital to understand how people actually change, not how we think we can change them. So one of the things I do is I always make sure I set up a program that lasts 90 days, because that's how you go from feeling some enthusiasm and getting some new glimmers to consolidating an entirely new stance. But if you question that, let me tell you what is involved in it. You have to, in some way, begin to zero in on something that you make as important as anything is in your life. You have to devote attention to it on a daily basis, and you have to stay with it. You have to, first of all, though, before that, you got to get real about where you are right now. And as you know, in the webinar, we were looking at that exactly. Where you are, what is the discrepancy between where you are and where you want to be and what you'd like to do and how you want your life to unfold, your career to unfold, your monetary well-being to unfold, all those things. You've got college kids who are headed for college, or kids who are headed for college. You've got all kinds of things coming up, and you want to be there for them while they're around and not running yourself crazy. And you want to be there to deliver to your clients or the people you work with the kind of leadership that they expect from you and want from you. And it's doable to make shifts if you've been stuck by following a 90-day process. And if you do that and you stay with it and you go from being real, getting real about where you are, to getting ready and setting some things in motion. If there's an educational step you need to do, you look that up and you find out what it is. If there are processes, if you want coaching, if you want support from somebody who's an expert, you look that up and you get involved in that and you allocate the funds for that, and you, just like you allocated time to get a college education. This is an emotional education, but it's also something even deeper than that. It goes beyond that because it goes to a level where it's all a mystery to you right now, and it gets that set up. And when you do that kind of tenacious step and you don't take more on than you can really handle, then absolutely, over a 90-day period of time, you can get real, get ready, and then get going on the actual plan you're going to fulfill. You'll do the get real and get ready before we start anything together, if that's what you decide to do. But once we get going, it's boom, 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 boom on a daily basis, making sure you're keeping certain promises you make to yourself. And we're looking for something that's going to give you big leverage, because you know very well there are changes you can make that are of importance to you, but they don't change your life. They're not life-changing. They're not earth-shaking. They're changes that are great. You take a course, you do this, you get another skill. But then there are changes you can do, and they have so many ramifications and side effects that goes forever. I mean, it never stops happening. So, for example, those people who get physically fit again, if they've been out of shape, it isn't just that they have ensured that they're going to be healthier longer. It isn't just that they're more fit. It isn't just that they can fit into clothes they haven't fit into in a long time, or they buy a whole new wardrobe. It isn't that their body fat content is less than it used to be and they can have bragging rights about that. It's all those things, but it's something more than that. It's what it does to them organismically at a cellular level to have exerted the force of their will in a pursuit that they made a goal for, and then to complete it and to be changed permanently is huge. But it also affects everybody you come in contact with. Everybody. Everybody is changed by the change you make. They attribute different things to you. They see you as more powerful. They see you as more effective. They see you as more intelligent. They see you as more social. They see you as warmer and more friendly, all because of this change in your body. But you have more power. You can sustain effort longer. If a project demands a real commitment, you don't wimp out. You've got the ability to sustain effort, and physically you're feeling better, and you can perform physically better than you have in a long time too, and that has lots of nice side effects. So all of this can come, and it's huge. And when you do something that shifts everything else too, that's the kind of change to look for. One that isn't overwhelming to do, but by doing it and sticking to it, everything else shifts. That's what to look for. That's what to seek out. And that's what I would insist you do if you worked with me. So I just wanted you to know that that question has been up, and I wanted to tell you unequivocally, it is important that you work with a step-by-step plan. You cannot do this flying blind. This is not a DIY thing. This is not do-it-yourself time at all. You need to do it in a systematic way. You have to be educated. You have to educate yourself, and then you have to bear down with a kind of force, and you need to be encouraged. You need to be sustained. You don't want to be alone in this. The biggest mistakes are made from people who think they can cut corners on the wrong things in life. There are things you need to fully invest in. You need to have the best coaching, the best materials, the best supplies, the best secretary, the best whatever. And you need to work with people who are at their best, because that brings out the best in you. I seek out those kind of people for myself. And whenever I do, the reward far exceeds the outlay of even effort. It's huge when things shift, because many things shift with them. And I want to see that shift happen in you like it's happened in so many people I've worked with over the last 25 years. In excess of 4,000 people have been touched by the principles that I teach, and I have worked with them personally and seen them move. And they've worked with me from a distance as well. So know that, and know that it's possible for you to move too. You can get engaged in a way, and it is permanent. It is not short term. There's a way to lock it in and make room for it in your life so that it now becomes like another rail in your life. And you develop entirely new neural pathways. When you go head to head with one of these strong habits that you've had for the last 40 years, 35 years, 50 years, whatever it is for you, and you just say, I'm going to eradicate that habit, it's tough to do that. It's better to shift certain things in your environment abruptly and in a calculated way, and it's better to shift your routines and a number of other things that help you announce to yourself you're doing something new. Because when you do something new with your life, that message runs through you and it strengthens your resolve and it strengthens the result you get. So that's what happens over a 90-day period that's well planned, well thought out, well coached, and well devoted to. Because it's like you do the work and you get the results. If you're operating off of bad information, you do the work and you go somewhere different. You get on another one of those, like dead ends, or, you're on a back road, or you're not where you thought you were going. You drifted. You started out big. I mean, how many times can you start out big and crash? And that's what some of these people who wrote in said. Look, I've done this and I've done that and I've taken this program and I've done this with this guru and that and the other. The trouble with things that are big whack impacts at the moment is they have to be sustained. And that sustaining power has to last over a period of time. And the minimum is 90. The trouble with 90 days is if 90 days you're really in the tank, it has lasting effects on you too. So that's what I wanted to tell you. That's what people have been talking to me about. And I'm going to come back with another video soon to talk to you about some other things I've been hearing and some other principles that I want you to know about. Okay, it's good to talk to you. And I hope I hear from you again soon. Hey everybody, Dr. Ken Christian here at world headquarters for drkenchristian.com. And through the magic of our electronic world, you can see below me where my fingertips are pointing a place to click. If you click there, that's going to take you to an application you can fill out to have a direct conversation with me. It is free. There is no obligation. Nobody comes after you. Nobody chases you. Nobody does anything to you. You have the conversation, and we either decide it's a go or it's not. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity to talk to you. A lot of people have done it, and they have reaped huge rewards. Do it now. You got the opportunity. So let's go. Talk to you then on the phone.